this candle retains its shape because a pillar candle is made of hotter wax. When you're melting this candle, you get a smaller wax pool, which is the surface area at the top of the candle which is melted. It is this wax pool that gives you the strong scent. The bigger the wax pool, the stronger the scent. So with a pillar candle, you always have a smaller surface area melted, so it therefore gives off less of a scent. So I'm going to tell you a little bit later about how to avoid having these candles spill and drip down the side. But just in case you ever forget about your candle burning or lose track, make sure you always burn these types of candles on a plate so that you don't damage your table or bench. The next candle type we're going to look at is also very well known. This is a tea light candle. These candles are often used in decorative tea light holders, such as this one. People often like to use them at weddings because there's many holders that hold these. They are also often used in oil burners when you're burning your wax melts or oils. These are usually only used for a single use because of their short burn time, just 3 to 4 hours. So there's not much candle care you need to know except to leave them in the foil container, because usually with these, the entire amount of wax melts, so they need to be in that foil container to hold the melted wax, or you'll have a puddle on your table. If you need a tea light to last for a longer amount of time, I suggest that you use a battery-operated tea light. Candle I will show you is called a votive. Votive candles come in 2 different ways. So you can get a votive candle already in a container, like this one. So the wax has been set into the glass. Or you can buy votive candles separately, and then the votive glass separately, and put them together yourself. With a votive candle, it does need to be in a glass because they're made of a very soft wax. So unlike a pillar candle, the votive candle will not retain its shape. So even if you get a separate votive candle that looks like a little mini pillar, you cannot use it like a pillar candle and burn it on a plate. You need to put it in a glass. Okay. Because votive candles are a softer wax, this means they also give off a very strong smell. So if you want a strong scent but can't afford to buy a bigger candle, votives are a really good option to go with because they give off a very strong scent, but are usually much more affordable. Because votive candles are so small, they're also usually really great for smaller rooms like bathrooms. So you could have just like a couple of these alongside the bath, and if you have them in a pretty decorative glass, it can look really beautiful and give you a beautiful scent for when you have your bath and make it feel like a spa. The last candles I will go over are these container candles. So, like a votive, a container candle is actually made of a much softer wax, which is this wax is so soft it wouldn't be able to retain its shape and stay up like a pillar candle can, so it has to be burnt in a wax jar. Now these give you the best, so if you love strong smelling candles, a container candle is definitely the way to go. These are usually larger sizes as well, so they do usually last so that you're just leaving a thin wall around the outside. Make sure that the wick is straight so that it burns straight down the center and doesn't lean over to one side so you don't get a lopsided burn. So on that first time you burn the pillar candle, as soon as the melted surface area or the wax pool gets to just within the edge, you need to put out the candle then. Okay, so this will set the wax memory to burn to that point again each time from then that you burn that candle. Okay, so it's very important on the first time. If, for example, the first time you burn a pillar candle, you only burn it to there, so the wax only melts to there, and then you put out the candle. Well, every time after that, it will only burn to that point, and so all of this wax on the outside will be wasted. There will be a very large wall around, so you won't get as long out of that candle as if you had set the memory on that first time. Okay, does that make sense? When you're putting out your candles or extinguishing them, there are, of course, several ways that you could do this. So the first, easy, you could just blow out the candle. So, of course, that's what most people do, and that's fine. But there are a couple of reasons not to do this. One, well, you could blow the melted wax onto your table, so you just have to be careful. If you do ever get melted wax on your table, a little tip for you: let it dry, okay? And then if you place like some newspaper over the top of it, and just get an iron or steam, one of those garment steamers, and just get some steam on there, the wax should just